I have a book that is called, well, actually, it's a planner. The book is coming out soon, but I have a planner, and there it is. I created this book to help actors navigate their career. It's got a calendar, it's got monthly exercises for you to do, it's got challenges, it has target sheets to help you start writing down who you may want to meet in the business, what shows you may want to do, just to help you get focused on the kind of career you would like to have. So, you got to go through the book. You also got to go through the course.
I am just blown away. I'm holding it like this for a reason. Like, I know as an actor we should be like showing it, but I'm holding it like this for a reason. And that reason is that this becomes your everything. This encapsulates everything that we actors need, that we actors seek, that we wanted and didn't even know we could get it. I mean, this is truly everything one in just one. And I love books. I love this. I feel your heart in it. I feel your years of beyond years. I feel your knowledge, your wisdom, your industry insights, like all the decades that you have learned for yourself and now you so generously put together for us to benefit from. When you grab it and you hold it, you'll know what I mean. Like, this is a must. And I said this to you, like, where was this when I started my acting career in LA 14 years ago? Where was this? Because I would have gotten to wherever it was, and it is my journey, and I know I am where I'm supposed to be, but gosh darn, I wish I had this sooner. I mean, to be able to put in your audition, I opened to the audition tracker, and you got pages and pages of it. So it's not just one page and then it's like, okay, it's filled up, what do I do? You have pages of it, and then you can do it digitally where you can add more pages to it.
I love
What a
that.
concept.
Yeah, I love
What
that.
a concept. Because then you fill it up and you're like, okay, that's it. Like, I remember teachers would tell me to notate everything I wore. You know, we hear all this, like what we brought, what we wore, who we met, all the things we're supposed to write down. And I can't tell you how many times I tried so many times. I would put it in a little notebook and I'd forget the little notebook. I would lose the little notebook. I didn't care about the little notebook. It wasn't a part of me. This becomes a part of you. And that's what I love about it. I love that one-stop shop. I'm feeling not so great today, man. That anxiety got me after that audition. Well, there's affirmations in here and scriptures, and there's moments where you're like, wow, this is all in one place. There is no losing this. There is no, because you will guard it with your life. It's incredible, Lydia. I'm not even touching, like scraping the iceberg, what is it? Scratching the surface. I knew it was one of those things. I'm not even scratching the surface about like how useful this is and how much you can get out of it. And the fact that you are doing this every year on your own, that's hugely telling about you and your character, like your discipline and your organization. Because so many of us creators are like,
well, I'm not organized. That's the thing. That's why I put that book together, because when you were saying you would write stuff, and then I kept note cards, because when I first started, I had a casting director to say, it's important that you jot down everything you did, because if we call you back in, we need to know that you're coming in looking the same way, and we need blah blah. So I kept note cards, and then the note cards were everywhere. And I'm not the most organized person. I try to be, but I'm not at all. And most of my friends are not organized. And so for me, it was important to put it all in one book so that I knew where everything was. And because I forget stuff, I forget, oh, I met that person last month, or I met, think if you're working a lot, if you're on
Yeah.
the go a lot, it's difficult to remember, oh yeah, I met that person in acting class. Oh, I told that person I would get them my picture and resume. Oh, and so
It's a lot.
creating that book helped me to be organized, because as long as I wrote it down, I knew I had one place to go to get it. And so after years of friends I would have to make books for friends, and I would have parties. Like at the beginning of the year, I would invite people from my Bible study and actors that I knew to come, and I would facilitate them making their own books. That way I didn't have to make their books. And so then I would help them assemble the book, so that when we were making them, they made collages uh, for the first and last page, kind of vision boards, but
Yeah.
as the cover and the back cover of their book, so that they could see it every day. It was there. And then we would organize it, and I would have them pick quotes, and they put their own quote. I would collect, and I still do collect, a ton of magazines. So I would spread it out, and one day they would just rip magazines. They were just going for pictures and words, because words are important. That
Yes.
they would find words that were important for them for that year. Like, this is who I want to be this year. This is what I want to pursue this year. This is what I want to have. So this is a culmination of all those years of doing the planners for myself and helping other people put together planners for themselves. And I try to put everything in there that is important to an actor. Encouraging them monthly to connect with their agents or their managers or their representation. What did you speak to them about this month? What is there something you need to get to them? Write it down. Did you have a good feeling when, and I have little emojis.
I was
So
just gonna say
did
the
you,
moods. Yes,
yeah,
I love
how
that.
did you feel? Because a lot of times we have an idea in our head. We go, oh, my agent. Well, if you talk to them, you can write, you can just circle one of those emojis. You know what? It was a good talk. It was a good call. They gave me clarity. We as actors a lot of times don't know how to have relationships with our agents or
Yeah.
managers. We think, oh, we got an agent, we got a manager, I'll just wait for them to call. But it's a relationship, right? So
Mhm.
that kind of helps you to keep the relationship going. So every month you got to find something you can connect with them about, so that they know you're out there. Let them know, hey, I did this video this week, or I took this class, or you know what, I'm taking a co-reading class and I met so and so, the casting director. We really hit it off. Maybe you can shoot them a little note and say, hey, I'm Jovanna's agent. I just wanted to say hello. She met you at Judy Kane's class. She spoke very highly of you. And anytime you have something, please think of us. So again, it's the agent is now also maybe building relationship with a new casting director they haven't met, or reconnecting with a casting director because of you. It all works together. It's all together. And then the auditions,
Literally.
what I love about the audition tracker is, and I've updated the book since I gave it to you. So now at the end of the book, you have, I call it, it's a wrap. So you get to write down all the auditions you went on, who were the casting directors, and then you can see how many times that casting director called you in.
That's huge.
You can see how many times you got a call back. You can see what the parts were. So if I went up on 4 mother roles this month or this year, I went up on teacher roles, because that also informs you, like, how people are seeing you. Because if a
Yeah.
casting director keeps calling you in for the role of a teacher, then maybe you shouldn't be uh submitting for the role of a wife. just for that season, not forever, but
Yeah.
if that season was a season of, oh my God, I booked 4 jobs and they all were teachers, or I booked 4 jobs and they were the next
Lawyer.
door
Yeah.
neighbor. I booked, it's like they're seeing you in a specific way. And as an actor, it's important to know what you sell. I say this all the time, but it's so important to know what you sell, because you can say I'm an actor, but if you don't know what you sell, you are not going to work. And no matter how many classes you take, there's so many classes out here where people say, oh yeah, take this class and you'll book work. Nobody can guarantee you'll book work, but if you know what you sell, you can strategize in that direction, and you have a better opportunity of booking work.
Yes.
Because you are very specific, and I sell this. This is what I sell. The problem a lot of times that actors have is they think they could do everything.
Nope.
I can play that role. I can play that role. I mean, I am guilty of that. When I was younger, I could do that. I could do that. Well, no, it's not that you can't do it. It's that the industry doesn't recognize you that way.
Yes.
And so you wanna win. You don't want to fight with people. You want to be able to go, you know what, this is what I sell, and sell the hell out of it, so that your opportunities become that much more greater. So I want to ask you questions about when you did the online course, because I think the online course is so valuable to any actor, no matter what, where you are in your career. If you're getting ready to start an acting career, if you are starting, if you are seasoned, if you are feeling like this isn't working, I'm going to retire.
I mean, the journey of your course for me, what it did was it gave me clarity, right? So often as actors, we don't know what to do next. We don't know, what is important and where we should put our focus. And I love that you just cut to the chase. It was like the energy was amazing. I felt like, oh my gosh, Lydia knows I gotta follow what she says, because there's this like instant just appreciation for just like cutting right to it. And what I loved was how bite sizable everything was. It wasn't like I was sitting there going, okay, wait, everything was laid out so that I knew what to do next. And I just wanted to keep going. So often we stumble upon things where it's like, oh, it becomes a chore, right? And this was like exciting. So I was excited and it was exciting. And it gave just the right amount of like mental stimulation and desire to do it, to get it done. Oftentimes we hear like you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and you're like, well, I really don't feel like doing that. The way you broke it down, it was like, I get to do that. Wow, that's cool. And I get to track it so that I have my answers, so that I'm not only fighting with others, fighting with myself, because that's something I struggled with a lot. Like, okay, they're bringing me in for this, but I want to be seen as this. It's like, wait a minute. There's a disconnect and there's this conflict internally. It's like you got to get on board with how the industry sees you. Initially, you can branch
Yeah,
off.
and let me just add something to that, because how you see yourself and how they see you could be two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of fighting how you see yourself, go, okay, I'm gonna give them this season, this is how they see me,
Yes.
and you know what, I'm gonna work on that, so when I come back next season, they'll see me how I want to be seen.
Yes.
Because sometimes you have to grow into how you want them to see you.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to make an investment in, I'm getting all these Maria parts, I don't like it. Ah, if I do one more Maria role, instead of going, oh great, I have an opportunity to play another Maria, I'm going to give her such a twist this time. I'm going to give her humanity like they've never seen Maria have humanity before.
I love that. I love
And
that.
that, and then say, um and next season they're going to see me as Miss Vidal, you
Right?
know. But it's
True.
something to aspire to, it's something to grow. And then you talk to your agents about it, and as soon as the season is over, to have a powwow with them and say, look, I've been taking classes this year, I'm really honing in this particular role that I want to be doing. How can you support me, and how can I support you, so that we can get to the next level in my career? So
Together.
now we're working
Yes.
together, and a lot of this is stuff that I learned by trial and error. A lot of it is, like, I always had long hair, and so I got upset one day and I said, it's not about my hair, and I went and cut it all off, very short. And I went to an audition, and the casting director, when I walked in, she says, "Does your agent know you cut your hair?" And so my smart mouth, I said, "Well, it's not about my hair." And she said, "Oh, yes, it is." And can I tell you that I did not book work for 2.5 years because of my haircut? Because the industry saw me in a certain way. Luckily, I was doing stand up at the time, so I worked doing stand up, but it taught me a lesson that you have to know what you sell,
Yeah.
and you have to know how they see you. That they
Mhm.
weren't going to call me in for roles with someone who had short hair. I was not going to get. I didn't get those calls. I didn't get those calls. So as soon as I had long enough hair, I got like little ponytail wigs. So yeah. So you learn a lot. You learn a lot because it is a business. We
It is.
may focus on the craft. We may focus on, oh, I did this character and she was brilliant. It was brilliant and I loved it. But they're looking at the business. And
Yes.
you as an actor, you are the CEO of your business. Not,
Yes.
the talent comes after, but you also have to think in terms of business. So I just wanted to point that out as you were talking about you seeing yourself one way and the industry seeing yourself another way.
Yes, and what I loved about it is that, similarly that you had said about me, like you learn these things yourself and you so generously put it in these one-stop shop materials, the planner and the course, so that it shortcuts. It's like the cliff notes, like yes, we have to have our own experience and our own lessons, but it's just like it's a guide. It's like, oh, Lydia suggests this. And just the power behind that. For all those moments when us actors, especially early on in our career in this city specifically, I'm talking about LA, that's the market I'm most familiar with as a working actor. It's like you stumble and you fall, and yeah, you got to get back up, but you scratch yourself up quite often. And it's like you so generously put encapsulate things and put it so that we can understand it and say like, okay, I'm going to go here, okay, I'm going to go here. And for the days when us actors don't know what to do, you give us that framework, that blueprint. Okay, on this day, oh, it's agent check-in day. I didn't track that. I wouldn't have known that otherwise. And all these things are just stepping stones so that you can win. So that when you wake up in the morning, you feel good about what's in front of you. Because you're like, I have a plan. Oh, I
And
lost
doing
focus. What's next?
self-care. Yeah,
Yes.
and doing self-care, which is very important for actors because we don't do enough. We're so worried about missing a job or an
Yes.
opportunity, or people won't like us, we don't like ourselves. And so self-care is really important, and I put in a bunch of suggestions for you to do self-care, as well as productivity challenges. So you take care of your business. So you take care of yourself, you take care of your business, and you take care of your mental health and your spiritual health, because it's all inclusive. You know, a lot of times there are actors who think they're one dimensional, and we're three-dimensional beings. You know, we're body, soul, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, four if you count mind. But you know, we are multi-dimensional, we are multifaceted, and it's important that we take care of ourselves. And what I've known, you know, being in this business for over 40 years as an actor, but being in this business over 50 years just in show business overall, is that the industry does not take care of artists. That is your job. They will rape you. Yeah, they'll rape you financially, creatively, and sometimes physically, but they are not going to take care of you. I know it's harsh, but that's the reality. And so
True, but
you
it's
as an
true.
actor have to take care of yourself. You have to have boundaries. You have to, you
Yes.
know, have a strategy. In the online course uh I give a section on creating a strategy station,
The
so that for
bonuses were
the
like
yes.
that needs to be in every like acting 101 class. Like when I saw that, I was like, duh, like why wasn't this like framed this way in any of my acting classes? It would have certainly helped me, you know, coming from a corporate background, to understand what the rehearsal process is. Like it's not just one thing. You don't just go there and read lines. Like I wish I would have had that deeper dive on a rehearsal experience, so that when I'm in a rehearsal experience, I'm not like, oh man, I said that wrong, they're looking at me. Because it's like, no, it's the exploratory stage, have fun. It's like there was so many nuggets in that bonus section. I was like, this needs to be in every acting course, college, degree. That bonus section, to me, like, talk about putting a bow on the course. I was just like floored by what a difference using those tools in that bonus section could have made in my career. And I know it's not just me, right? And
Well, the good thing is that you now have it, and
yes,
moving forward, you go, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I
yes.
can do this. This
And
is
that's
great. Let me
amazing.
create a strategy station so that I am thinking of the long game, because
I
I
love
plan to be
it.
in this business for a very long time. So I don't want to wear myself out. I don't want to, you know, burn myself out. How am I going to plan out my calendar for the year? What is it that I want to get to? How do I get there? Who are the people that I need to help me get there? Because as actors, we don't do it by ourselves,
No.
but most of us are afraid. One of the things that hurt my heart, that has hurt my heart over the years, is being in acting classes with extremely, extremely gifted actors who never got a job, who went back home
Mm-hmm.
beaten and defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned early on was it's not the most talented people who work in this business. It's the ones who understand that it is a business, and
Yeah.
who are able to navigate that. There are so many great artists out there, not just actors, but in all disciplines, who are waiting for someone to give them. And so this book for me is uh, a way to say to the artist, you are the CEO of your business. So it is incumbent upon you to know these things. And you may not have learned them before, but I'm giving it to you now. So you have no excuse. You have no excuse for
No.
not succeeding. The misnomer is that not everybody in this business will work. And the truth is, not everybody in this business will work who does not do the work.
Mm.
You know, if you do the work, you will get the reward. If you sow seeds, you're going to get a harvest. That's a universal law. You plant the seeds, you water your garden, you take care of it, you nurture it, you're going to see harvest.
Mm.
But if you have the seeds in your hands and you're waiting for somebody else to create your garden, it ain't going to happen. Even if you pay them, they may not plant the seeds properly. So you, as the CEO of your small business, which is acting, you must do the work and find competent people who can help you along the way. The better thing is finding people who know more than you to
Yes.
help you along the way, and be willing to invest in your career. So when you
Yes.
start working, get yourself a publicist, and if you can't afford one, figure out how to create your own press release, figure out how to make your own EPK, your electronic press kit, and start sending out your press releases every time you book a job, and utilize social media to help you, be the press person for you.
Yes.
Put stuff out there. Hey, I'm so excited. I got to interview Jovanna Vidal today. Hey, I'm so excited. My podcast series is coming July 1st. Hey, I'm so excited. Where you're creating stuff, um, and saying what you're doing. Oh my God, I had such a challenging time. I got hired to do this project, and the character was so intrinsic. There were so many layers to her that I had a difficult time the first week adjusting in rehearsals, because I didn't know which way to go. And then I had an actor sit with me and say, if you did that, that might be a good thing for your character. Or the director sat with me, because I told the director, I'm lost here. Just to share that on your social media, to show that you are growing, you are vulnerable, you are creative, you're working, all of it. It's all publicity, all of it. And so, that's the other aspect of acting that I saw a lot of actors miss the mark. They were talented, they started booking the work, and they were expecting the studios to do the publicity for them. They don't care about you. Those studio, even if you're the lead, they may get a publicist for you for a little while, but once that project is over, bye
That's it.
bye.
That's
Your history. So you have to keep it going. I saw that early on. Brad Pitt. I was in class with Brad, and early on, and I saw, because the class I was in, all these up and coming actors. What I took away from them was they didn't spend their money on cars and houses and nothing like that. They spent their money on PR. They have publicists every month, and they were utilizing that service. And that was back in the day when, we didn't have social
social
media.
media. Yeah.
And I tell actors all the time, if you get a job, you need to publicize it. You need to find their wonderful PR people out there. Tammy Lynn is a great
Right.
PR person who has a Spotlight PR, and she does publicity a la carte. So if you need a press release, she'll hook it up for you. If you
That's
need
awesome.
somebody to walk the red carpet, she'll walk the red carpet for you. She'll help you create a campaign if you need more. And then if you really need a full publicist, then you start finding the publicists that you click with, that get your vision and understand what you want to do, and they will carry you along. But as an actor, that's just as important as your talent, is having a publicist.
There's so many components that go into it. It's not just the audition. It's not just right. So I just love that you create that reality for us in your materials, in your planner, in your course, for us to get like that awareness, like, oh, this is how I can contribute. Who can I bring into my circle to help me up level my materials, up level my image, right? My PR, my And that, I think, to your point, is a really big differentiator between the working actor and the non-working actor, and the ones that we both know had to return back because they didn't permit themselves to venture down that reality of what this business is. It really is such a huge component. It really is. And I love that you're, really making that very known in everything you do.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Coming, you were in advertising.
Yes.
Is that how you start? So coming from advertising into acting, what did you take away from advertising that you are now able to use in your acting, in your career, your business?
Yeah. So I was in media, and I wanted to be on the creative side. And I interned at MasterCard at the time, when the Priceless campaign was one of the biggest, like, cult favorites, right? And I just remember getting the audition tapes and everybody like watching them, and everybody having an opinion, and everybody, being very boisterous about what they thought about each actor when we were watching the tapes. And I remember, that the agency was the one that like would step away and come in with their recommendations. And I remember seeing like the client being like, I'm not happy with those recommendations. I want something else. So I just remember being privy to those dialogues behind the scenes. This was obviously for commercials. Where we think that, it's the casting director who has the say. It's like there's so many people that they work for that they have to answer to. So having that perspective was really interesting, understanding that the client can override and overrule and will win. Having the pockets, of course, that we're always trying to like get into like one gate, but in actuality we don't have access to the kingdom. Like, just because we're getting into the casting office, the the goal, again, you mentioned this, Lydia, is to have them like us enough that they bring us back so that we have an opportunity to step at the door of all the different kingdoms. But it's not that we're going to go into the kingdom by going into the audition, just to use that analogy. So that was very striking for me. And even still having that awareness and that, experience, and having witnessed that, I still bought into like certain beliefs that us actors, have early on in our careers. Like, that casting director doesn't like me, he'll never. It's like, if you can solve their casting problem, assuming you're a professional actor and you come in prepared and you know your stuff and you look the part and you look like what the client ultimately wants, they're not gonna not bring you in because they don't like you, unless you do something really up. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, like, for the most part, for us who like want and try and do and art and show up professionally, it's like the casting director has a job just like we have a job. And so it's just interesting having that behind the scenes peek at how the commercial world is run behind the scenes.
And that is how the theatrical world is run as well. Instead of you dealing with an ad agency who's in charge, you're dealing with the executive producer or the showrunner who's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the showrunner dictates. The director on the project also has a say who they want to see,
Mm-hmm.
because they may have their people that they want to work with. So
Yes.
the casting is one section, and
Mm-hmm.
and as I put in the book, um that's why those target sheets, what directors do you want to work with, the showrunners, they are all important. Even the assistants, I didn't put that in there,
Yes.
but the assistants are may be even
Hugely.
more important
Mm-hmm.
than, because the showrunner, the exec producer, the director, even the casting director will turn to the assistant and go, who did you like?
Uh-huh.
Who did you like? And we as actors, a lot of times, will be rude to the assistants.
Mm-mm.
we will, oh yes, we will
No,
be
I
rude
know, but
to
it's like,
the,
no, don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
that.
We
Don't
will
do
be
that.
rude to the assistants. We will treat them like the scum of the earth,
No.
not understanding that they carry more weight in those offices than you could imagine.
Yep.
And they may not be able to get you the job, but they could keep you from getting the job.
Truth.
And so don't act up in front of the assistants. You treat them with respect, because tomorrow they may be the casting director.
You know it.
They may be the filmmaker. They may be the producer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat everybody with respect and with care, and treat them like you would want to be treated, not have a tantrum. This is a business. You are a business person. I said this earlier to someone. It's like what Jay-Z says. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. I'm the business. So we're the business. We're selling our creativity. So we have to take care of ourselves. And we have to take care of those people that we are going to for work. It doesn't mean we sell ourselves. It doesn't mean we deny ourselves, but we treat everybody with kindness.
And that is at the root of so many things, right? It's like once you can start treating others with kindness, the way you'd want to be treated, the way we're meant to be treated, then so many other things can fall into place so much easier. And that is a huge takeaway, hopefully, for anyone listening who's like, oh, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It does matter, because how you show up not only matters, but people can read it. People can tell. People can like feel your vibe. And if you're like, cursing outside the office because you didn't get a parking spot, or it's like people know how you are treating others even before you step into the office. Like there's like ways that they know, like, like your negativity, if it prevails you, if it like presets you, like they can read it, and that is not a good launching point for your audition.
First impressions mean everything.
Everything, because
They
oftentimes
mean
if it's not a good
everything.
one, you don't get an opportunity for a second one.
And if you're having a bad day, do not bring it into the casting office. Do not
No.
bring it into the meeting. Do not bring it into your self-tape. If you're having a bad day, find exercise or find something you can do to get rid of that stuff. So when you get on camera, when you get in front of the people, you are your best self.
I used to I when you're driving in LA, you have time to listen to a lot of things. So whatever that is of choice, I would always put like a motivational video on YouTube, whatever it was that I would put in en route to the audition. But it was almost like this little click that went on inside of me when I was like a mile outside of the office. I was like, okay, I'm on. Like a 1 mile circumference, because I did not want to accidentally be that person who cut the director who's coming into the room, right? Like I don't know, I always had that image of like, what if like in my New York little Latina, like, get out of the way, like, and I like, what if that's the person who's coming in and on the other side of the table? So I just remember, like, normally this is me and I'm kind, but I just remember being like, it's not when I step into the room, it's a mile outside the office where I'm starting to like get myself in that mental, like, game face place. Like, okay, I don't know what is going to happen, but I want to be prepared from the minute right? Like, that's just what I like.
I like that. I like that, because I'm a wicked driver. I like that.
You can tell I use that as an example because
I'm a wicked driver. I would add to that something I learned from Eric Estrada years ago. I did a TV movie where he played my brother, and it was during the time he was at the height of his career, and so I would glean from all the stuff he would say. And I remember one thing that he said that has always stayed with me. He says, as soon as I walk out my door, I am on.
That's even better. Yeah.
I am on. And that always stood with me. It was like, yeah, you got to show up in a different way. You have to, again, going back to if heartbreak and misery was behind that door, when you go out, nobody should know you're having a rough day.
Mm-mm.
Everybody should see your best self, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
it's not that you're being disingenuous, it's that people don't care. They don't care that you're having a bad day. They don't care. And your job is to do your job, not to do your feelings. Well, I'm not feeling good today. I got my period. I'm not feeling good.
It doesn't matter.
I broke up with my boyfriend. I'm not feeling good. I didn't sleep very well because I'm hungover. None of that. None of that is anybody's business. Your business is to show up in your best way. Um, when I was doing stand up, I had a huge showcase at the Improv, and the night before, my father passed away, and I had to get up there and perform. And then after that, I was heading back to New York for the service and stuff. And I remember having to muster up every piece of goodness in me. And when I got on stage, nobody knew anything because I got on and delivered a show. And that's show business. The show must go on. You must do what you need to do without tantrums, without excuses. Just do your job. Do your job. If the house is on fire, let the fire department put it out, but you do your job. And it sounds wicked, but they're paying you to do your job. They don't care that you had a car accident. They don't. Can you walk? Is your face okay? Can we put you in front of the camera? Okay, come on, let's go. They do not care. And so because time is money, right? If they're on a budget, they can't be waiting for you. So so the course and the book is meant to make you the best actor you can be today. You said something earlier, and I want to come back to it. Just in general, there's nothing we can do about our past. You said, I regret I did these things. And I just want to add to that. There's nothing we can do about our past.
Mm-mm.
And for us to drag that baggage that no longer serves us, it is a detriment to us.
So true.
Our job is to let go of the past. Okay, I didn't know any better back then, so I did the best I could, because you're thinking about the past based on what you know today, but back then you didn't know that.
No.
So why are you holding yourself hostage on information that you did not know?
Well, and I think that's what it is. It's like I don't hold myself hostage, not anymore at least. But what it is I have the lesson. And the lesson I want to always remember. So because I did something that I remember I regretted or could have regretted, it's like, oh, I got the lesson out of that. How can I not do that again? Right? That is where I focus. So like if I did something, a mistake, an error in judgment, error, we do those. We're human, right? And yes, it's like I did that, but I learned from it. And how can I apply that lesson in something that will ultimately reappear in some way, shape, or form? But I don't want to do it again. I learned the lesson. So I think that's where I like to sit in.
And that's the power. I mean, you just said something. That's the power, is not blaming yourself for past stuff, but going, oh, what did I learn from it? Because there are always teachable moments. If we're paying attention, every day brings a teachable moment. So I love your explanation now of how you phrased it, because earlier you had made a comment, and I was like, oh, I gotta say something about that. But I love that, because it is true. It's like, How can you learn from what happened and never bring that back,
Yeah.
or how do you forgive yourself
Yeah.
from what happened and go, you know what, that was a learning lesson, that was something I needed to go through,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a better person today because of it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I so appreciate you. I am so glad we had this
Oh my
time.
God,
I
seriously.
thank you so much. I thank you, thank you, thank you. I love what you're doing. I am so thankful that you were able to go through the book with me, and share with me about that book and also about your book. So and so we'll do a little duo
We'll do a
here.
duo
Whoa, 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 whoa. And
because
so I,
yeah,
I I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you who are interested in Teen Anxiety No More, you can get it on Amazon. You can find Jovanna on social media. What is your social media handle?
it's at this is Jovanna, like you're introducing me. So this is Jovanna, because who you see is who you're gonna get. But my name, Jovanna Vidal, is probably easier.
If people want to check you out for Fridays,
Oh, come join us. We have so much fun in there. Just literally pop in 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You say hello in the comments and we all welcome you because I want everyone to feel um like feel what's the word, at ease,
welcome.
like feel welcomed. Yes, but it's like accepted and seen. So if you say hello in the comments, we're like hello, and that is what I've conditioned us all to do. So now everybody in the chat is very welcoming, and it's very really, we call it the Fry fam. The Fry family, it's the Fry fam, because
That's
it's really
awesome.
become that. Like I have
That's
for two and
awesome.
a half years the same, so many still returning and more and growing. So come visit us. We'll
And
have
that is
fun.
on YouTube, people.
Yes,
Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
come
Check
join.
out Jovanna, and be loved on and be cared for in the group. And so, for those of you who have been watching, this podcast has been brought to you by actingsmarternow.com, where we have the My Acting Smarter planner available. We have the Acting Smarter Now online course that also includes a digital planner, or you could get the downloadable planner. And it will be a blessing to you no matter where you are in your acting career.